Well, good afternoon, my YouTube friends. It's Margaret again from M.E.s Orchids, and thank you for joining me on this Saturday afternoon. The clouds are only just breaking, so it's been a grey, miserable English winter's day. Too cold to go out. In fact, the temperature in the orchid room at the moment is only 19 degrees centigrade with 57% humidity. So what I've done is I've come up into the grow room just to generally just check some of these smaller cattleyas and just to give them a water. I use this little pipette here, and I've got the water down there, and I just gently spray the roots, and then then you can see there's a little tiny reservoir of water left. I've not actually soaked the pots. This is so that I don't overwater them, and I've just generally checked them over, you know, for the old scale and bugs. And one of the reasons I've brought you with me today is, you see this Dendrobium Jessie. Well, I've had this, I can't remember, let's have a look when I've had it. September 16. Oh, sorry, not September. Well, it could be, it could either be a 7 or a 9, that. And I've really struggled with this one. And if you look, this is what we're left with. Hold on. This little thing here, which if you look, that growth there is a kiki, and so there's that one. Oops, and have a look down here, there's this little one here, this little growth here, and that's got a kiki on it. And if I just reach down now, bear with me a minute. They were just potted up in this medium. It's just a bit of everything, I think, in there. Only a small part. Looks quite big on camera, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's only a small part. So I thought I've got to do something. It's one of those days where you look at your orchids and you think, well, these are definitely not going to make it if I don't act fast. You see that one, I mean, the cake's fine, that little cakey, but the actual roots on this one here, they're actually dried. And the other one I wanted to show you was this Dendrobium Violet Fizz. And now this was a gorgeous plant when I first had it, a couple of years or so ago. But unbeknown to me in those days, because I was a novice, it had got mealybug. Well, I think it was mealybug. It could have been scalar. I mean, in those days I didn't know I didn't know bugs existed on orchids. And anyway, this is what I'm just left with, these two little pieces here. One's got 2 leaves, one's only got 1 leaf. So I don't know. They're both going to struggle. But there again, I've got to try and do something. And I did have these on a mount, and they don't seem to be doing very well. I'm not sure whether they're the Nobly type anyway, and they should be getting a winter rest, but there isn't sufficient strength to give them a winter rest. So what I've done is I have these little food containers. They're only little tiny things. And this is a little container. So I've taken the wiring off. That one sits in there. That one sits in the actual base. So they'll be nice together like that. So I'm going to put these 2 little ones in here, and these other 2 in there, and I've got lava rock. And the reason I'm choosing lava rock is because that's going to have a little reservoir at the bottom, and this one, even you see there's only holes at the bottom of the container, and that will hold a little bit of a reservoir, and so they will stay hydrated. Because they're so tiny, I'm not sure myself whether I'm not keeping them hydrated enough. So if you'll just bear with me a minute. Well, they're potted up now, and as you can see by the size of the label how tiny that pot is. And I just use this little pipette here and just gently, very gently, just let some water drizzle down. I'll just knock that little bit of water off the leaf in a second or two. But I'm finding that this is the best way to water some of the orchids that are in the rescue mode. And there we go. And then I'll keep watering just for a minute or two. They're anchored down with this lava rock, and the little reservoir of water will go in that bottom bit there. Now this is the one that was a little bit dehydrated, the bottom root was. Of course that's the little kiki. So if I just gently water down there, then the actual root of the main little stem will get hydrated. And I can just put one or two little droplets of water on the little cakey here. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickle today in my throat. Now, this is the problem when you've got little tiny plants, because you don't want to drown them, but you actually need to just keep them hydrated enough. And this is why I'm thinking, well, if I put them in the lava rock, then hopefully they'll attach to that lava rock. And they're only in a very small pot, because dendrobiums don't like to be over potted. And just bear with me a minute. Now this is quite painstaking work, and look what Keith, I'm upstairs as you know, and he's come upstairs. I thought, what's that noise? And he slipped this piece of paper under the door, cup of tea. Love him to bits. Right, anyway, so this is the other little tiny one, and that's this pot here is even smaller than the other ones. And again, you know, just a few little dribbles, no more, just so that I think this is potted up in a little bit of bark, hydrogen balls and clay pellets. Let me just have a look if that's leaving a little residue. Yes, you see that little drop there, down there, that'll be enough for that one. And let me just put this one down here, and bear with me a minute. Right, the same for these. Now, if you remember, these are the ones that I got in one pot just before the holidays. It is a nobly type, and then when I came back, most of them had dropped the leaves. But if you look at them now, and you see how they've got little nubbins coming. Let me just see if this one's got one around the other side. Let me just have a look. Yeah, you see there, there. There's one there. Now these could just be developing little cakeys. There's no way of telling at this early stage, But again, you see that one's got a new growth there, so I'd have to be careful. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to have that that new growth too wet. I'll check that in a minute. That I've not already got it too wet and it's got some rot developing already. But like I say, it's quite painstaking work, this is, because of the cold snap that we're going into again. You just want to keep them hydrated enough. You see, they're turning green, so I just need to keep them hydrated enough without actually drowning them. So that's why I say it's painstaking. But it'll be well worth it in the end, because at least these, you know, they're not dying. So this is just a very quick look at how I'm just checking over my orchids today while I'm up in the grow room. And thank you for joining me, and take care, and we'll speak again soon. Bye bye now.